you all have already gotten to see and do a lot of things and hear a lot of things. But I wanted to take this opportunity to kind of tell you guys about exactly where you are right now and what the differences are. So what's really fun, like I said before, what's really fun about this group is obviously it's not just our first, it is our first event, but it's really fun about this experience is that you all started your experience at the other Porsche store. It's just so cool. Like, I don't know if that's ever going to happen again in that way. I mean, maybe it's the first time I've ever had 2 stores here, but it's just really great. So what's fun about that is that all of you, or most of you probably, saw that store this morning, so you kind of have that fresh in your mind. So I want to give you just a little bit of history of that store and how that correlates with where you're standing right now. So that store is a Generation 4 flagship Porsche center. And what that means, obviously, is 4th generation, but flagship means that basically Porsche suggests a lot of design elements, a lot of ways that the stores are created and built for your guest experience. But flagship means that you hit a very high tier of that you really knock it out. In a weird way, Porsche might say it's like a perfect Porsche center. So that other store is one of the 13 flagship Generation 4 stores when it was created. It's great. But now, I know I mentioned, did I mention this group about the Carrera Cafe and about the, I don't think I did. Okay, so at the other dealership, at Gaudin Porsche where you were this morning, you found the Carrera Cafe. Now that Carrera Cafe is the very first Carrera Cafe in the entire world. When we pitched that idea to Porsche in 2012, they thought we'd lost our mind. They're like, you're gonna put food in a dealership where you're gonna want to smell a bacon in a showroom? What are you crazy Americans doing? And we talked about, a better part of the guest experience. People come to get their services done, pick something up, pick their friends, and grab it. We want them to be able to grab a real, spend some time, maybe do some work on the laptop, grab a bite to eat, maybe grab a smoothie on the way out, a way for them to spend more time there at the store. And then also it's fantastic for our team members. So it's really weird. Think of all the years you all were at work, like all of us have been. Imagine all the times you forgot lunch. You're like, what am I going to do about it? I don't know what that feels like. Because I just go into the cafe. You're like, I don't know what that feels like. I'll just go eat. And so all of our team members too, it's much more efficient. But that is the very first Carrera Cafe in the world. And the sign up above that, we created it, we designed it. Porsche fought us hard on that. They said, you're not using that. That's our logo, the Carrera. You can't make it red, put it on a wall. So we did the grand opening party. They all left. We put the sign up. True story. Totally true story.
The 13 flagship stores, is that North America or the world?
That was North America. Great question. It's a good question. And that was, based on the last generation, right? So I'm going to get to this one store too because it's interesting. But by the way, virtually all Porsche centers are fantastic. But it's just kind of like how close you can adhere to the request is effectively how that works. But the Carrera Cafe was an exception, and they agreed on it. And then the story on the sign is really cool and quick. Is that we never went through design. You have to go through all these design protocols. As you go through the architectural board, the design board, and we already made the signs. We just threw it up. I'm like, I don't know, maybe they'll get a little tell sticking out. 9 months of tours later of various executives who don't know what's approved or not approved. No one says anything. And then the number 3 guy in the world, Detlef von Platen, who frankly just left Porsche after all these years on the executive board. He was in the showroom, took a picture on his cell phone, texted it to his buddies on the executive board, and said, "This is such a cool idea. This is great in Vegas." He thinks that somebody in the Porsche design team had already approved it, otherwise it wouldn't be on the wall. So he texts the whole executive board, they're like, "What a great idea!" And we're approved. Because everyone's like, this is great. And then they start telling everybody what a great idea that America had in Vegas, Carrera Cafe, and so now there are Carrera Cafes all over, and they all lease and license our sign. So that's how the Carrera Cafe came to be. Now that window into the workshop at the other store, we created in 1999 back in our second Porsche store. So we became a Porsche dealer in 1986. Sorry, I'm talking fast, but y'all can, I don't know if you know this, but y'all can listen at 400 words a minute. I can speak at 100. So I don't know what you do with the other 300, but here I go. So 1986 is when we first bought our Porsche franchise on East Sahara. And we were selling roughly 0.7 Porsches a month over there, so real high volume. And then we built the second Porsche store in 99. And with that store, it was on West Sahara. We had Jaguar, Porsche, Aston Martin. On West Sahara here in Vegas, we came up with the idea of having a window into the workshop. That was from speaking to our guests, more transparency and things like this. This was in 1999. Let me tell you, the manufacturers, the technicians, not big fans in the 90s of that that front of house, back of house transparency. And frankly, if you think of like restaurants in the 90s, you know, a chef would come out, you know, nowadays everything's open concept, but it wasn't like that. It was very revolutionary. So that was the very first window ever approved from Porsche. They approved it 6 years later in 2005. And so that's the first window to the kitchen where we cook and prepare a product. Porsche gives us the credit for creating that design element. So that's the first one over there. The Porsche design location, first in the world for a Porsche center. And then the classic division is first in North America. So those are some of the first that you saw at the other store. But here we are, right? So now, later in your day, you're here at Porsche Henderson. Now this is a destination Porsche center, that's the name. Now, some people say Generation 5, I'm not allowed to say that. It's a DPC, Destination Porsche Center, but why is it called that? The idea, much like a Porsche Experience Center, is that this is a place for us all to congregate and spend time. Perfect example. And so instead of putting all the focus on the vehicles, the idea is we're going to put focus on each other and creating relationships with each other. So that's why you'll find a total of 7 lounges in this location. The other one has 2. And so it's like, we're gonna spend more time getting to know each other and being your partner during your automotive journey. So that's the idea of Destination Porsche Center. There's more to do here than just buy or service a car. So, in the showroom, first I wanna talk about the architecture. Obviously completely different from Gen 4 that you saw on the other side of the store. It's a very marked but very noticeable piece of architecture, but everything's gonna be right angles except right here in the middle of the showroom. This is what's called the racing line. It's meant to be architecturally defining, and it is. And right back here we have our 16 by 9 foot TV, which y'all, most of you have not been to my house, but mine is not that big. But we gave you guys a little welcome here on the side. And then we have another 16 by 9 screen because that's just not enough feet. Right over here in our highlight module. So the idea of that highlight module, of course, is for the vehicle to be moving through the world. When we have a cabriolet in that area, it's really great for some videos and pictures because it looks, you know, it looks like CGI a little bit. But I'm gonna come back to that area. So here in the showroom, the idea in the showroom is that we are gonna spend more time with each other, which is why we have a lounge here. We have one over here in our Porsche Platz, which just means Porsche Place. And that is our welcome lounge right over here behind our front desk reception area. But if you take a look at the showroom, you'll notice on the 2 sides of the showroom are very different areas. So over here, we have our e-performance module on the other side of that wall, and there's a charging station there for our electric cars and plug-in hybrids. That there is a Taycan GTS Sport Turismo. If anyone knows Porsches really well, you might be thinking, I thought Taycan was Cross Turismo. Well, that is on all trim levels except the GTS, which is Sport Turismo, so you all will win Porsche trivia tonight. Unless you're playing against the other group, sorry. But then on the other side of the show, so obviously very modern. On the other side of the showroom, look over here. This is our classic module. And the idea there is to give you that real juxtaposition of the most modern side, if you will, of the Porsche experience to the most historic. And so there's a little something for everyone here. That's the whole idea. It's time to get to know each other. Time to experience, you know, the automotive journey together. But this particular car, by the way, is a 1976 S Signature Series. Almost none of them in the world. They were commissioned by Ferdinand Porsche himself for himself and his team. Very rare car. But the idea is that you've got classic and modern here with e-performance. Now in the middle here is our racing line. Those sports cars in the middle. Over there is our approved area, which is Porsche's discussion of our pre-owned area, and it talks about, that's actually a pre-owned GT4 RS in paint to sample British racing green. Pretty cool. But it talks about, you know, the best warranty in the business, unlimited mileage. Over there is our tech equipment area. You'll see our aftermarket accessories there. For example, the Macan with the storage carrier up on top and some other accessories to the right of that. Since we're back there, what we're going to be doing here is oh, actually, let me just finish back there. So just pass that Macan on the left-hand side. Make sure you take a look at that room. It's really special, called the Owner's Collection. So again, thinking of Destination Porsche Center, the other store, if you're doing delivery of your new or pre-owned Porsche, you're in a 3-bay delivery center. This is a single bay on purpose. More intimate experience, spending time with your friends and family. Close the door, and we have some surprises in there for you as well. So what we're doing right now, just to take a quick little break, is I am doing kind of a verbal tour with you so that you all can go explore on your own. And the reason why is this is the very first time we've ever had this many people here for a tour. And I thought all of us fitting through a hallway might be a little comical, but might not be that efficient. So we're gonna try that right now. So I wanna make sure you guys experience. One more thing with an eyesight here is back to the highlight module. So that's what this module is called over here. And what I really want you to take a peek at is what's above the car. So that lighting element, that is an artificial lighting element made to mimic natural light. And I gotta tell you, the creation of that element and the execution of it really very complex. I think it's feels as though the car is outside, in this case, at Sunset in the city. So pretty cool thing for you to check out there. Okay, first floor. We've given some of that experience. When we break here, make sure you make your way behind the big wall over here. I know a lot of you have seen some of it, but as you make your way down, make sure you spend some time in the Carrera Cafe. So it's another Carrera Cafe for us, but we custom design every element. That one is the only one that looks like that. So the custom woodwork underneath the countertop, take a look at that. The countertop itself is plaster finished. If you look at the little tiles in the corners, just really well done. Really proud of the team on what they created back there with the Carrera Cafe. And then of course, our rendition of the window to the kitchen where we cook and prepare our product back there. I know you all were just in the workshop, which is great. And then our boutique, which is very popular during birthdays and holidays, on the right-hand side. There are some new elements in there, which are really cool. They just came out yesterday, and I usually don't push like the retail, but I was like, man, these are really good-looking items, so check them out. Like, you guys go see the Turbo Club collection. At the other store, we were there for 10 years, still there. But just like any home that you may have had over 10 years, you might think, if I ever built another house, like, and so there are many things around this building that we kind of, I don't know, maybe improved in efficiency, and the boutique's a good example of that. At the other store, if you want to try on a polo shirt or something, well, you kind of got to leave the boutique, go around the Carrera Cafe in the restroom, and go in the restroom and try it on. But over here, we added a dressing room, just an idea of something we had thought of during design of this store. Okay, next, second floor, mezzanine. A lot of our fantastic team members are up there. So on the second floor, you can make your way to the second floor a couple of ways, the elevator to level 2, or there are stairs behind the Porsche plots. You'll see the wood stairs to head you up to the top. So when you get up there, you'll notice that the mezzanine looks and feels a lot different than the first floor, and there is a purpose for that. So when you first get up there, you'll see a heritage wall, which is great, but where Rico and Pablo are there, you'll see Work 1. Some of you can see that sign up there that says Work 1. So, and to our German friends that are here, I'm not pronouncing it right, I understand. I'm doing the Work 1. You know, my first time I went to Boston to Volksfest, I was so confused because I could not find, I was looking for a V, not a W. Awesome. Anyway, so Work 1 is where we first started building cars in 1948. It's the red brick building in Zuberhausen. So that is a special event area, small area. Another lounge back here. Beyond the lounge, you'll see our fitting lounge, which is really exciting. You gotta go get in there, check out the fitting lounge. We have team members there to give you an example of what we can do in there. But a more intimate space to build and design your new Porsche. And that is another departure from Gen 4, which is the Nova showroom, so more intimate space for you and your friends and family. Beyond that is Pablo's offices, which is where we do our transactions, our F&I offices. Beyond that is our forward-facing conference room, and we have a lot of our friends in town spend some time on meetings. For example, the Porsche Club, some charity meetings, things like that, but it is forward-facing. It's available for all of our community to use. But do check it out, because there's a picture of Work 2, where we first started building our race cars on the wall. It's really cool space. But the idea of the second floor, I was telling you, there's a special idea up there, is all guests are welcome up there at any time. They go up the elevator, up the stairs, no problem. But probably wouldn't naturally find their way up there unless they were being hosted and escorted by one of our team members, because it's kind of the next level of the guest experience. You're there for a special event, maybe there for a more private lounge time to get to know each other during your automotive journey. Of course, the fitting lounge is a very special experience. Actually transacting in the next offices are here for a special meeting. So typically that's a place where we would say, okay, we're gonna go to another level of guest experience there on the mezzanine. Okay, almost done, y'all. You're doing a good job. Before I tell you about the final element, outside, you may have not noticed it, but you're about to see it on the third floor. We have a glimpse, which is where we can highlight a lot of our cars in the jewel box, if you will. People can see that coming down off the freeway, which is great. And then on the fourth floor, where you all, usually the guests haven't seen the fourth floor, except for me park. On the fourth floor, which is gorgeous up there, what a car show. When you go back up to get your car, I want you to look up above your car at the covered parking area. Now, hello friends, you ready? This is empty. is. You know, we're not going to tell anybody what I'm about to say, right? But the third floor and the fourth floor, it's a parking garage. Okay, I got it. It's okay. But the fourth floor garage, the fourth floor has covered parking. But if you look up, you'll see it's completely finished. It's like almost like a black stucco, and there are custom lighting elements all around. So in the evening, we can really like highlight the vehicles that are on the fourth floor. Really special. But on the third, here's what's cool about the third floor. When you all get to the third floor, parking garage. But when you get in there, you'll see all kinds of elements that no other centers will have. So you're going to have special flooring. You're going to have illuminated graphics on the sides of the walls. We're going to have special cladding on the walls as well. Porsche lighting, Porsche music, fans, like all kinds of special lighting. And it's the Porsche's first approved guest experience area. That's not climate controlled, so it's in that garage. So they said, you know what, this is so great. Like we would like our guests to be invited here. Of course, there are other Porsche centers with garages. You can go visit them, and this is a guest experience area, so that's pretty neat. So we'll let you all go, but please explore the first floor. Please explore the mezzanine, our second floor. The third floor is going to be warm. But so I wouldn't plan to spend a ton of time there, but you got to make it there. You can go the elevator to the third floor, or these stairs behind the Porsche plots right by my office. You can go up through those stairs to the third floor as well. And up in there, we have some very special vehicular surprises for you. Some of them you've already seen them, including a paint job called Chromaflare Shifting Carbon. And the price of that paint job is in euros, but it converts to $141,000 for a paint job. So check that out on that ST. But I'll let the other surprises come about you. But bring your cameras, and thanks for coming down. And we will see you all after that. We still have another about 30-35 minutes for you all, so please explore. Enjoy the time with each other, and thank you all so much for coming down.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, sir.
Second floor that way.
Thank you.
Third floor this way.
All right.
Second floor that way.
All the way to the top.
Second floor that way. Third floor, if you want to see the shoulders up. All the way.
Please come on in. This is the fitting room. This is basically where you customize your Porsche. And as you can see, you can, from leather to color, combination of paint, stitching, what color you want the stitching on your carpets, what color you want the stitching on your dashboard, everything, every single piece of the car can be customized.
So is this classified as the Sonderwurst stuff or not?
Say again?
Is this classified as Sonderwurst or not?
Kind of.
Sonderwurst is not allowed.
Some of them is different, that's correct. And so anyways, different trims that you can customize.
The big key cases
That's very neat. And then you can see in the pictures how they do it in Germany, in Stuttgart.
We were there.
Oh, you did? Oh, so you know.
We were in the Sonderwurst factory.
There we go.
Yeah.
This is when the wallet burst into flames.
That's the fitting room. That's the picture that Paul was talking about from 1958, when the cars were made by hand. Yeah. Yeah, that's the fitting room. This is for
You were in the Porsche Club used to be a board meeting and stuff like that.
Yeah?
Yeah, they do. Here, we're Arizona, so they don't let us here.
Okay.
No, they're welcome.
You're
us
based
there.
where?
Some
Where
of them.
where in Arizona? In the
Phoenix area,
Phoenix.
Scottsdale, most of us. Although, you know, it's statewide, but mainly Phoenix and Scottsdale.
That's yeah. That's the picture that he was saying from 1958. Yeah.
In what, Stuttgart?
Yeah, when they made the cars by hand. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I went there about
Please.
11 years ago with the Fast Lane Travel.
Yeah.
Porsche Club.
Yeah.
We took a tour of the
You did a tour?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Amazing tour, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
What's that water trying to open the
So a question first, so on the, back to the sunroof stuff, if you wanted something special, right, how would you go about it?
If you want to order something special, not the signature order, then yeah, we send an email, we talk with the person who that rep.
So like the back.
And somebody from the party will contact us. I know.
So I think it's, so I have a shifter. What do you think, Frank?
They are very progressive.
This is where the good stuff is at?
Yes. Not a long step. Been a couple steps.
All right.
Went to that.
Thank you. So this is the Uber paint job one? So that was a special wishes card.
Yes, these both are special
Oh, both of these are special wishes? Okay. Very nice. These are owned vehicles or this is stock? Oh, okay.
Yeah, these are dealer principals.
Oh.
This is